What if I told you the bravest decision Emma Watson ever made had nothing to do with acting? It wasn't accepting the role of Hermione. It wasn't starring in blockbuster movies, and it certainly wasn't winning awards. It was the moment she chose to risk everything Hollywood had given her for a mission she believed mattered even more. Stay until the end, because when you discover the decision that changed the course of her life, you'll understand why millions admire Emma Watson today for something far greater than her films. To the world, Emma Watson seemed to have the perfect life. She became famous before she was a teenager. The Harry Potter films turned her into one of the most recognizable faces on Earth. Success arrived almost overnight. Fame, money, endless opportunities. Most people believed they already knew her story. Another talented actress living the Hollywood dream. But behind the premieres and magazine covers, Emma was asking herself a question very few celebrities ever ask. What is success actually for? Because while millions admired her career, she was beginning to think about something much bigger than acting, and that question would eventually change everything. Many actors spend their entire lives trying to stay in the spotlight. Emma did something unexpected. She slowed down. She stepped away from constant film projects, not because Hollywood had stopped calling, but because another purpose had started calling louder. She returned to university. She continued her education. Then she accepted a role that surprised almost everyone. United Nations Women Goodwill Ambassador. Some people questioned her decision. Others thought it was simply another celebrity campaign. But Emma wasn't interested in appearances. She wanted action, real conversations, real change, and soon, the entire world would hear her voice in a completely different way. In 2014, Emma Watson stood before the United Nations to launch the HeForShe campaign. Millions expected another celebrity speech. Instead, they heard something deeply personal. She spoke about equality, respect, opportunity, not as political slogans, but as human values that affect every family, every community, every future generation. What made her speech unforgettable wasn't anger. It was hope. She invited men and women to work together instead of against one another, to listen instead of divide, to build instead of blame. And something extraordinary happened. People who had never watched one of her films suddenly knew her name for an entirely different reason. Not because she was an actress, but because she had found her voice. Emma could have spent every year chasing bigger paychecks, more movies, more fame. Instead, she invested something even more valuable: her time, her credibility, her influence. She visited schools. She met young people around the world. She encouraged girls to believe that education could change their future. She reminded boys that kindness and respect are strengths, not weaknesses. She knew she couldn't solve every problem, but she also knew something powerful. If one voice inspires another, change begins. Perhaps that's why her greatest performance was never written into a screenplay. It was lived. Years from now, people will still watch the Harry Potter films. Hermione Granger will continue inspiring new generations. But perhaps Emma Watson's greatest legacy won't be found in a movie. It will be found in every young person who discovered the courage to speak, to learn, to dream, to believe they could make a difference. That is why Emma Watson walked away from Hollywood. Not because she stopped loving cinema, but because she realized fame has its greatest value when it becomes a tool to serve others. And perhaps that is the role she was always meant to play. If stories like this inspire you, you're in the right place. Here on See Beyond the Spotlight, every week we uncover the hidden human side of the world's most inspiring people. Who should we discover next? Tell us in the comments. Your suggestion could become our next documentary. Because every legend has a story, we uncover the one the world rarely sees.